All right, sports fans, it's time for another edition of the Sports Couch, a look at area sports through the eyes of a local athlete, coach, or superfan. The Sports Couch is made possible by People's National Bank, a full-service bank with multiple locations throughout Southern Illinois to serve you. People's National Bank, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. And made possible by Mt Vernon Title Company, your real estate closing professionals. When you need real estate closings, title searches, contract for deed, or any other legal real estate document, depend upon Mt Vernon Title Company. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. All right, in week 2 of the high school football season, Mt Vernon Rams went on the road to Carbondale, South 7 Conference game. What a battle it was, a high-scoring affair. Rams jumped out early with a lead, also led at halftime. Then the second half really got interesting. Fourth quarter got extremely interesting. I think there was something like 5 lead changes just in the fourth quarter alone. And the Rams scored with 22 seconds to play on a 2-point conversion to eke out a 52-51 victory on the road at Carbondale, evening the record to 1-1 on the season. Coach Dan Mings of the Rams is with us right now. Coach, you've been doing this for a long, long time. It's not often you have a game where you have 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter.
Well, when you say not often, I think that was, in the 300s of games that I've coached, in the 32 years that I've been doing this, and no, I've never seen it. So yeah, it doesn't happen very often, and it was a burner. But again, week 1 we score on the first play from scrimmage. Yeah. Week 2 we score on the first play of the game, on a kickoff return. We're up both games, and then we let people back in by our own mistakes. You're up by 11 points at halftime, and within 35 seconds, you're down by 3. It made no sense. But our kids showed guts finally and just showed work ethic. And the one thing we'll say about that is, as a football coach, you go your whole life telling kids, hey, I want to see you leave it all out on the field one time. Just one time, get everything that you've got. Mm-hmm. Hey, if we got to carry you off the field from exhaustion, we will do that. Well, guess what? Another first. For the first time in 32 years, we had nothing left. We were completely exhausted on the field. We had to carry kids off the field because of their exhaustion when the game was over, and the cramps and the tears of joy and all those other kind of things that came with it. It was just there were so many things in last week that I have never seen before in my career. But for us to come out on top is the most important thing. For our kids to show that they can leave it everything out there, and the reward for that is you get the victory. And that may be a life lesson down the road for some of these guys, that when you're going to work hard and you're going to leave everything you got in your endeavor, you're going to leave everything you got in your endeavor, then it's going to pay off.
Yeah, well, you often say, if you get punched in the mouth, you go and you got to be able to punch back. You got to respond to that. And you did get hit in the mouth a few times in the fourth quarter, but they did keep responding back instead of, laying down.
Yeah, and it just shows a little bit of resilience that we have, but it also exposes our lack of depth, But when we did that, we had a lot of kids that had to go on the field and play positions that they had only heard about. Honestly, and they did a great job doing it, and kudos to those guys. And now we're, it'd be nice to be sitting here 2-0, but we're not. We're 1-1, and we got Marion, this week down there for the third time in 4 years. Which the scheduling is just what it is. There's not much that we can do about that, but. It makes it a little bit tougher coming off a big emotional win where we're drained physically, to get much done this week, when we had to get a lot done because of how dynamic Marion's offense is and how tough their defense is.
Well, speaking of dynamic, you had a couple dynamic games there by Jashawn and CJ. They both had incredible offensive games for the Rams. What about your defense at this point in the season? You had those, you gave up some big plays there against Carbondale, but when the game really came down on the line, you were able to make some stops, particularly right there at the end. And so I know you still got work to do on the defense, but were you proud of the way that they got it done when they had to in that fourth quarter?
Well, by saying when we had to, the answer to that would be yes. Yeah. Am I proud of what we've been looking like? No. And I'm not. We can't give up 34 points.
51 points
and then 50,
total. Yeah,
and then 51 points in this game. We can't do that and expect to win football games. We just can't. But hopefully they understood what they did in the fourth quarter to win, and hopefully that will carry over into the next game where they give a better performance.
Facing the Marion Wildcats on the road, like you said, you haven't had a home game yet. 3 road games to start the season. Marion also comes into the game at 1-1. They lost in week 1 by 1 point to Carterville, but then they won in week 2. They have the number 2 ranked quarterback in the entire state of Illinois. That's across all classes, and Callahan Roper. He's been putting up phenomenal numbers this year. Of course, he was sent away in the summertime to some, different quarterback camps and stuff like that. How do you prepare for a guy like that that's that dynamic from the quarterback position?
Well, we don't necessarily ever prepare for a person. We always prepare for the scheme, and the things that they do and the things that they try to put you into jeopardy-wise, where he has those throws that he can make. And don't get me wrong, he's making the throws, but most of the throws they've made and completed have been open. They've been wide open, and to his benefit, he's making those plays. But we can't worry about him. Although he's a Roper, he's talented. He's put the work in. He's everything that you want your quarterback to be. So we're aware of him. But number 11 for them is a dynamic. He's a stud. He's a guy that's changed basically both games that they've been in so far. Number 7, their wide receiver is dynamic. Their running back is a little workhorse. So, right now they're about 70-30 pass to run ratio because of having Callahan back there at quarterback. But make no mistake, if they want to, they can line up and just run it up and down the field on you. After seeing our Waterloo game, we're expecting a little bit of that. After seeing our Carbondale game, we're expecting to throw it a little bit. We need to put some things together, but I think Carterville and Waterloo are fairly similar in size and strength and those types of things. I think that Granite City's probably not very good. I think we've played similar type of opponents. Although I think Carbondale's offense is really good, and they have athletes all over the field. As far as Marion goes and what they're going to do, they're going to throw the ball till we stop them. And then when we stop them, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go full house and double tight, foot to foot, and they're going to try to run it down our throats. And we're not very big, and we understand the possibilities of what they're going to do, and we're just working this week to try to figure that out the best we can, and the kids are working hard, just sitting here watching them work. There's not one kid not working hard and believing that we're going to win, which that's got to be half the battle, and then just go with the plan and try to execute the best we can.
So much psyche involved in football too, and it's such a different mindset when you're practicing today at 1-1 versus 0-2.
It is. It changes everything. 2-0, you get to breathe. 0-2, you can't breathe. 1-1, it's like, what do we do here? That's just what it is. And there's probably people with some pretty good schedules here in the state of Illinois, but I think we've probably got one of the top ones. By the time the season's over, we'll have at least 4, if not 5 ranked teams on our schedule.
Right.
And for us to have a chance, if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, we probably could have or should have won that first game, but we didn't, so you can't look back on that. We tried to give the second week away, but we hung on and won. We hung on and won. And this week, what's going to happen? What Rams team is going to show up? Or did we learn anything? Do we get better? Or are we making improvements? What are we going to do?
Health-wise, how'd you come out of that Carbondale game?
Oh, no. We're not healthy. No, and I would love to say that we're going down there
100%.
100% with, no injuries and no bangs-ups and, no limiting things, but that's not true. It's not true. We're going to go down there with everybody, obviously, but our backups are getting plenty of work this week. Okay, let's just put it that way. Our backups are getting plenty of work this week.
Well, that's what practice is for.
It's what practice is for. When it comes down to it, they're going to have to get in there and do what they're supposed to do.
Coach, appreciate the visit as always. Good luck down at Marion this week.
All right, Randy, thanks.